Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name is Edie Ann. I am coming to you about a personal thing. This has nothing to do with Scentsy. If you have been following me, then you know that about 5 years ago in May, I had bariatric surgery. I had a gastric bypass at Rouen-Y. And it's been almost, like I said, 5 years. And I've tried to do this before. So here is the blunt, raw facts. I lost about 125 pounds right off the bat, like in the first year. And the second year I maintained it. And by year 3, I was already gaining some of that weight back. So here we are, year 5. And I've gained about 30 pounds back from where I would like to be. That's unacceptable for me because at this point where I'm at in my weight, there was a threshold when I was coming down that I felt a difference in my body. It was almost like this release or this weight off my shoulders. And I literally felt the stress off of my body and my joints and my knees. And I'm at that weight right now and I can feel it. So I know that there is a weight that your body wants to be. It may not be exactly where you want to be, but your body is able to function well at that weight or less, and obviously not too much less. And so because I've reached that point, I need to get it off. And I need to do that quickly because if I continue to go up, I'm going to start feeling sick like I was before. And I do not want to do that. Now, granted, I am nowhere near where I was when I had surgery as far as weight goes. Now I will say that, our bariatric program that I participated in to have the surgery done has what's called a restart program. And some of you know it as a reset, a pouch reset, some of those things, but they have a specific program that they run that you participate in. The dietitian is part of it. The psychologist is part of it. It's kind of the same thing as when you were going and getting prepared for surgery. Now, I know that not all people that have bariatric surgery have the ability to have this type of program. I feel like I'm blessed because our program is amazing. So with that said, about 2 years ago when I had started to do the regain, I tried to do the program and failed. And the reason I say I failed is because I didn't stick with it. And I think it's because, like when I first started this whole thing 5 years ago, there's got to be a mental shift. There's got to be a state of mind that you get into or that you participate in that says, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. A lot of people call it their why. Why are you doing this? What is the reasoning and motivating you to do this program? Well, when I first had my bariatric surgery, there was a lot of motivation because I was super sick. I struggled a lot with my weight. And so therefore I needed to do this so that I would not. Listen, my dad passed away when he was 56 from a lot of complications, and I was on that same path. So I knew mentally that I was heading in the wrong direction. I know right now, and I think 2 years ago, I wasn't ready because I was still at a good weight. I'm not now. And so there's this urgency that I'm feeling that if I don't do this now, I'm going to end up back where I was, and we aren't doing that. We just aren't doing that. So with all of that said, today is day 1 of my restart program. They call it a restart program, and it is the 2A diet. And for us, it was the 2-week liquid diet that you had prior to your surgery, and then the 2-week liquid diet you had after your surgery. So the biggest difference that I'm finding right now is that I've had the surgery. So the restriction is there. So I'm hoping that that tool is going to be there to help me so that I don't feel that hunger. But I have reintroduced a lot of bad habits. I'm going to be right up front and honest with you. And so a part of this 2 weeks has to be this, where I'm saying, you know what? We're going back to the drawing board of where I was not allowed to eat certain foods, and I will not be introducing them back into my life. I won't be reintroducing them back into my lifestyle, into my diet. One of those things that I was very successful at doing was no more soda. I have not had Diet Pepsi in 5 years, and no more alcohol. I've not had a drop of alcohol. I take that back. I did have a sip and I didn't like it. So we're no alcohol for 5 years. So there are certain things that I've gotten in my brain to say it's just not part of who you are anymore. You don't have to have those things. You don't want to have those things, and you're not able to have those things. And I have a lot of people that will come back and say, oh, so you're never going to have sweets again? How can you even say that? That's not what I'm saying. There are things like fried foods that make me super sick. Why would I want to reintroduce them? See, I'm getting passionate. If they make me sick, they're no good for me anyway, right? And so that's one of the things that I need to get out of my system and no longer participate, have that be part of my lifestyle or diet. Fried foods, just, I don't need them, like fried chicken and that kind of thing. The greasiness makes me ill and I keep going back. And so it needs to be out of my system. I love crackers. First of all, I gave up crackers for Lent. I've done well. I have not had any. So guess what? I can do it, right? Chips. It's a fried food. Needs to be out of my repertoire. It needs to be out of my diet, right? So there's a lot of things that I need to detox from, that I need to no longer reintroduce back into my diet. And here's the funny thing is, for the first 2 or 3 years, I had a non-negotiable list. So if I went out to eat, there were certain things that I could eat and there were certain things that I could not eat. Non-negotiable. And so that non-negotiable list needs to come back to the surface. I need to reintroduce it into my life. But it's a lot easier to do that when you completely eliminate, at least it is for me, when you completely eliminate it. And right now what I'm doing with this 2-week liquid diet is, and I'm going to show you the things that I'm using as part of my diet. I need to cleanse my system. I need to detox my system. I need to detox my liver. And one of the things that you're doing prior to surgery when you do this 2-week is that you are detoxing, you're shrinking your liver, you're releasing some of the toxic enzymes that are in your liver, and it helps to absorb the nutrients better. And so those are the things that I am doing. Now, if you've also done fasting, then you also understand that there is a cell rejuvenation that happens when you stop having your stomach digest stuff, when it's trying to utilize its cells and its actual meat. I don't know the scientifics. Listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm telling you what I've learned. There's a cell rejuvenation that happens. And so these 2 weeks, that's what I'm looking to do, is to rejuvenate some cells, to detoxify my liver, to detoxify my internal system, my digestive system, to reshrink my stomach, and to go back to a tool that I have to be able to maintain a healthy weight. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So I wanted to share that with you. I also think the last time that I failed was because I wasn't really being held accountable. Yes, the doctors or the dietitians, I checked in with them often. Sometimes that's just not enough for me. And so I think by sharing my story with you guys and my journey along the way, that I can be held accountable by you all, as well as myself. And so I also have God on my side this time, a little bit more than I did 2 years ago. So I'm excited about that because I think that he can help me through this journey. So that's where I'm at. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you what I'm using for my foods, and stay along with me on the journey. Share with me if you've done this before, if you've lost some weight, if you've felt better, if you have felt like you detoxed yourself. Share those stories with me down below. I would love to hear them. Those types of things keep me motivated, and I want to hear from you. All right, hang tight. So I wanted to show you the supplies that I have for my 2-week liquid diet, my restart program, and to give you a little bit of insight as to the products that I'm getting. Obviously, these products can be altered to different brands, but these are the products that they recommend. Like, they actually have my daily write-up as to the things that I should be eating, drinking, and these are on that list. Some of them, not all of them. So I'm going to start off with the Bariatric hot cocoa. This is from Bariatric Pal. I have been using their products since my surgery. I love this hot cocoa. It is super high in protein. It's got 15 grams, and it gives me the hot drink that I like during the winter, and an alternative for coffee. Obviously, I can have coffee, but this gives me an alternative so that I don't have to be drinking coffee. My heart doesn't really like the coffee, so I try to stay away from the caffeine a little bit. And I think this affects me less than the coffee does. This is what I use for my chicken broth. This one is 100% natural, and it's got a good flavor. You also could do the low sodium one. I kind of need the salt, so I go with the regular. But this one tastes the best, and it's resealable so that I can just pour what I want and put it back instead of opening a can and wasting the rest. All right, so then I go to my Light and Fit yogurts. So these are the yogurts that I use. Now, pre-surgery, they're going to want you to strain this stuff because they don't want any particles in your stomach when they do the surgery. Post-surgery, doesn't matter as much. So even with the cream of chicken, they would tell you to strain it. I'm not going to strain it because I'm not having surgery. These are the soups that I'm going to use, my healthy request options. And I use the Fairlife milk to mix into it to add protein, as well as a unflavored protein powder. I've not gotten that yet, so I can't show it to you. I usually use Undri. Doesn't seem to be very easy to get lately, so I had to order some. But I do have this, which is a source of protein. I like it because it dissolves much easier. I've been using this for years now in my coffee in the morning. So I'm going to be adding this to a lot of my meals that I'm going to be having. I also have this tea that I'm going to be using. I love this tea. It helps to make you go to the bathroom. And when you're on a protein diet, that can be difficult. So this is going to help me a little bit with detoxing. I also have my sugar-free pudding. So that will be another meal of sorts, and I would add some protein to that as well. These are going to be my primary source of protein. I can have up to 5 of these a day. So these, this is the preferred shake that I like. I like this flavor. I tested a ton of them before my surgery, and this was the one I kept going back to. So there's that. Of course, there's my Fairlife, and then some juices. So I chose the crayon apple diet so that it's less sugar. There's no sugar added in this organic apple juice. It's my favorite apple juice, regardless. When I'm making smoothies, this is what I add. I also love V8 juice, so I'm going to be adding that to my liquid, and a little bit of grape juice, which is one of my favorites. It's great for antioxidants. And then they also allow for a diet tea and diet iced tea. So this is my choice for my diet iced tea. So guys, this is pretty much it. This is what I am going to be eating for the next 2 weeks. And there's also a custard recipe that they gave us that I might delve into. We'll have to see how I feel about cooking. My husband's being so good because he's going to cook his own meals for the next 2 weeks so that I don't have to worry about that. And off we go. I haven't shown this part in a long time. I don't know if you guys have been following me for a while. I used to do what was called chatmill. But I can't do a treadmill anymore. So this is my elliptical machine. I'll show you. And so I only do about 5 minutes because that's all I can handle with my knee. But it's better than nothing. And I try to do this every day, but I'm not very consistent. Okay, so I've shared with you the foods that I'm having, the little bit of exercise that I'm going to be doing. You have to remember I had knee surgery about 6 months ago, about 6.5 months ago. So I still have to be pretty careful with what I do, but that doesn't mean that I can't do something. And so the elliptical seems to be my way. I do not believe that I'm going to be uploading a video every day along this journey, but I am going to be videoing something every day. So even if that means at the end of my 2 weeks, I upload a video showing what I did during the 2 weeks, I don't know. So just keep an eye out for new videos on this journey if you're interested. I will be doing this for 2 full weeks. Today is day 1. And today I started off with a protein hot cocoa at around 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And it's going to be like every 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours that I'll be doing something. So like right now I'm having some of my cran apple juice. And I had a V8 juice a little bit earlier. So I believe in week 2, this week I'm going to do starting around 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9, I'm going to start with my first meal, my first drink. Next week, I think I'm going to introduce my intermittent fasting. So that means that I probably will do my eating window between 11 to 12, and 6 to 7. So it'll probably be like 11 to 6 or noon to 7. And then I will fast for the following hours until the next day and start with my drinks then. And the reason that I'm doing this is a personal choice, is because that is the type of lifestyle that I want to live after my fasting. And so if I start participating in it the first or the second week of my liquid diet, I think I can instill some habits so that when I come back on to eating normally, I will be in that fast mode. Or fasting mode, not fast mode, but you know what I mean. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm super motivated right now. And something I just heard somebody say is you can't survive on motivation alone. You have to survive on the fact that your why is what's going to draw you to do what it is that you need to do. So that in itself is motivation, but discipline, being able to stick with it and celebrating the fact that you can be disciplined is something else that you need to focus on. So I thought that was pretty valuable information that I wanted to share with you all now. So wish me luck, say a little prayer for me, and we're going to get this done. All right. Thanks for joining me. Bye.